fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live late night. I just finished a shift, so I just wanted to reach out to you guys. I know I was supposed to went live a couple days ago. I just didn't get around to it. I had too much content that had to go out, if you know what I mean. Like, I do a lot of content, so the content had to go out. And I had other things to do, other things to tackle. But I'm here. This is a surprise pop in and check in on you guys. When you come in, if you come in, hit the like button. But I'm just here, man, just taking it easy. Feeling the breeze of the morning air. Because, I mean, where I'm at, it's what, 2:12 in the morning. So I'm thinking if you guys are in the UK, it's what, 8 o'clock? So it is morning time. It's just later for me. Curtis Young in the building. What's up, brother? Yo. Yo. Like Rocky Balboa. Yo. Dario Scott. Hello. I always thought like hi was almost like a passive way to say hello. So, hello. But no, man, let's talk about some boxing. If you guys can see the cover, that's Tommy Brooks, man. A lot of people don't know Tommy Brooks. We talk about the Emmanuel Stewarts, the Teddy Atlases, the Ronnie Shields, but we don't talk much about Tommy Brooks. Tommy Brooks was a hell of a trainer, man. He was a guy that was a no-nonsense old school trainer. And he trained everybody. And then I don't really feel that he got the recognition for the people that he trained. Lee Foster, what's up, brother? It's been humid and hard to sleep at night in the UK. Well, it's been hot here, man. I never been to, when you say the UK, I guess you're talking about England. I've been to Ireland. I've been to Germany. I have not been to Turkey, but I have not been to England as of yet. And I supposed to went 5 years ago, so I don't know the weather there. So I hear it's something that I want to experience. I don't want to go by hearsay a lot, because that curves your perception of what you think that place is versus your own experience. You might go there and have a hell of a great time. People talk about Seattle, which is another place I've never been. And people always talking about it being rainy. But that is not going to stop me from going. I think that you need to experience things for yourself versus try to live vicariously through other people, because I don't think people live vicariously through people. I think people live ignorantly through people. Therefore, they don't know what the hell anything's like. They just heard so-and-so say this, and it gets bad when you don't even remember who you heard it from, and you're just taking who you forgot told you for cash value. Like, oh man, I heard New Orleans is dangerous, so don't go there. Miami is dangerous, so don't go there. Brazil, oh, the UK, you'll get stabbed in the UK. Don't go there. Please, pretty please, don't go to the UK. You'll get stabbed. Like, if you had a negative person to tell you something bad about any place that you traveled, you would never go there, because someone would always give a bad report about something, just being negative, and you wouldn't go there, period. So I think we should realize that, and that's not going to stop me from going. If you heard and seen documentaries after documentaries, right, you would see that there's a reason to go or not go anywhere in the world. The real, if you have been to Ireland, you have experienced English weather. Okay. It wasn't too bad when I went. I mean, it didn't have because I went in August of 2022. And in August of 2022, needless to say, this is the 1st of August of 2025. It is hot. Now, it's beautiful right now. It's beautiful. The only thing you got to worry about is those mosquitoes. They will haul you off here. But other than that, you're fine at night. So, it's all good. As Steven, nothing to brag about, but that's just facts. It ain't nothing like the U.S. Well, you will burn from 8 a.m. to 5. No, from 8 a.m. to 7, or no, from 8 to 8. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. you will burn. You will sweat. If you're not accustomed to the sun, the humidity, you will burn up here. This is Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Arizona. Now, when you start getting to West Texas and New Mexico and Arizona, when you start getting to those areas, you're getting more of in the desert, and it's not as humid at all. It's actually dry. And I actually prefer it than this shit. This here, this will get you. Don't listen to them, bro. You don't even sound that gay to me. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Was Mike Tyson overrated? No, he wasn't overrated. I just think Mike Tyson was in a league of his own for a while. Just like Roy Jones, the weight class they were in. Mike in the 80s, Roy Jones in the 90s. And when the 2000s hit, like, if you notice, like, everywhere probably except the heavyweight division, we had explosive fights. Because after Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis, we didn't really have big heavyweight fights. The biggest last fight we had was Lewis, probably Vitali. And then we had the Klitschko era. But everything else in the 2000s exploded. Everything exploded in the 2000s. If you look at it, you had the Barrera Moraleses, the 1, 2, 3. You had Barrera versus Juan Manuel Marquez. Barrera versus Pacquiao 1, 2. Pacquiao versus Morales 1, 2, 3. You had De La Hoya versus Sugar Shane Mosley 1 and 2. What else did you have? Trinidad Vargas, Trinidad. I know Hopkins, Trinidad Joppy. Who else did you have? Roy Jones got knocked out, and then he started losing a lot. Because, he was actually past his prime because he went all the way up to heavyweight and decided to go 2 weight classes down, which made no sense to me. But no, you had, then you had the Prince Asima Ahmed era, and that was foiled from Marco Antonio Barrera. Jeez. I mean, you had everyone. And then you start hearing about Floyd. Floyd started like kind of creeping up in the mix. But it was like later in the after 2005, 6, because after 2006, he fought Gotti and destroyed Gotti. We all know how that went. And then 7, he fought, I think it was May 7th of 2007, he fought De La Hoya. And then he fought Ricky Hatton, then retired. You know what I mean? Then came back in 2009 and fought Juan Manuel Marquez, and then he got pissed because people forgot about him because of Pacquiao just started kicking everybody's ass. So, I mean, then that Pac-Man and Floyd thing started. So, like, a lot of boxing happened in that time. So, Klitschko's were boring. They weren't the most exciting fighters. They were boring, but effective. Boring, but effective. That's what made people not like them. Because it's like, dude, if you're going to be boring, please let somebody beat you up. Let somebody figure your big, tall, colossus asses out and beat you. And like every so often we did, like, see a loss here and there. You know what I mean? But then they came right back and took it back over, and you know what I mean? And you're like, fuck. So then you're all more just like, damn, now we're still looking at the Klitschko's, still kicking ass with the jab and grab, fighting tall, keep them long, set up the Dr. Steelhammer or Steel Hammers. Viewing on you. Hi from Cleveland. Counterpunch to you. Viewing on you. Lennox was good for his era, but not the best ever. The best ever is, I think it's such a contentious topic because I think the best ever what? Heavyweight, cruiserweight, light heavyweight, middleweight, welterweight, lightweight. Like, who are we talking about? What time frame? Because you know how many, it's crazy. If we had every boxer in their prime and we put them all in a room and we said, hey, and keep in mind, if you were a heavyweight in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and I think in the 80s, you didn't have cruiserweight, right? So cruiserweights were like little heavyweights. Like Rocky Marciano would be a cruiserweight. He wouldn't be a heavyweight. So Rocky Marciano would be fighting guys like Artur Beterbiev. Now imagine that shit. Artur Beterbiev versus Rocky Marciano. That would be an absolute slaughterfest. It would be a banger. Lennox was too much jab and grab. Sometimes he literally tried to clinch onto his opponent's backs to try to lean them onto them. That's cheating. Well, Hands of Doom, also Lennox Lewis had a bad habit of what he would do. He was so much taller than his opponents. Not only would he do that, he would lean on you, but when he leans on you, he wants you to move forward, to bend over, forward, and then uppercut your ass. You know, needless to say, Joshua was starting to do that shit for a while. He was starting to, use like get you in a position to land that uppercut. And a lot of times that wasn't always tasteful. But Lennox was masterclass at that shit. He would lean you in and then, kind of come up and hold you and bow, catch you with that uppercut coming up forward. It was bad stuff. The Fury versus Klitschko fight was the worst heavyweight fight I ever seen, especially for the belt. Well, I would say belts, because Klitschko had all the belts. So, yeah, it was probably one of the worst championship fights that I remember seeing, because, it wasn't that exciting to see. So, Skrilla 50, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Ang_gaming. Muhammad Ali was, in my opinion, was the greatest boxer in history, hands down. I think he was good for his era, and I think what we need to do, like that, the best of all time. It's a topic that I kind of sometimes tolerate, but I think at the time frame, it's just better to just respect who was better at the time. The fantasy fights, the David Tua versus Rocky Marciano, stuff like that. Like, those type of fights would be crazy. Because, see, David Tua fighting someone as small as Rocky Marciano. I don't think Rocky, though, me personally, I think Rocky was smart. I think he was tough for his size because he wasn't a big heavyweight. But, he was fighting guys that really wasn't too much bigger than him. As a Charles and the old Mongoose, Archie Moore. Guys like that were small. But, again, you didn't have cruiserweight. So where are you going to put them? They're bigger than they're bigger than middleweights. You see what I mean? So, and they're bigger than light heavyweights. So where are you going to put them? So, yes, you have to give it to Klitschko. They got the job done. Lennox was boring. David Tua, Mike Tyson. I did a breakdown of Mike Tyson versus David Tua, and I gotta say that's just one. I'm kind of glad that fight didn't happen because I loved both fighters. I was a fan of Mike Tyson. I was always a fan of Mike Tyson. I grew up watching Mike. I'm 45. Mike's 58. So when Mike was young, because he was a young dude knocking out grown men. He was like 20 years old, 19, 20 years old, like Moses Atoma's age, knocking people out. But the only difference is I was younger than him looking at Mike Tyson, playing Mike Tyson Punch-Out. Seeing all that stuff on TV about Robin Givens, the Barbara Walters special. I was there through that shit. I seen all of that. The RAPE allegations. I was there for all of that. I was there when the comedians were making jokes about Mike going to jail because he was going to jail. Man, I was there for all of that. I was there when he, listen, let me tell you guys a story, right, about Mike Tyson. When in 1995, Mike Tyson got out of jail, he was fighting Peter McNeely, or was it 95 or 94? Well, I want to say it was 95. But he got out of jail to fight Peter McNeely. Mike Tyson Punch-Out was my shit. Yeah, it was a lot of people's shit. That was an addictive game, bro. Bald Bull and Glass Joe and all these cats, right? Piston Honda. Was it Piston Honda? But anyway, I told my dad that, because we lived out in the rural areas, and I told my father, I was like, look, man, I want to see this girl that I was dating. And she didn't live that far away from me because she was also rural. But it was also on the way in the town to where I really wanted to go. So I said that I was going there, which I had no intentions of going there. I was going to go hang out with my boys and smoke some weed and watch Mike Tyson at Billy's house. Okay. So we did exactly that. We got some weed. We hung out. We waited till the fight. We watched the fight at Billy's house. People were sparking up, and I didn't drink alcohol at the time, but but I did smoke that green cabbage. So I'm sitting there watching Mike Tyson, and I'm looking at this fight, right? And everybody's ecstatic because they wanted to see Mike, right? Mike looked huge, massive, like a bulldog on steroids. He was like twice as big as when he went in, because when Mike went in, when he got locked up, he was like he was a heavyweight, but he looked like a lean pit bull. Because that's why it was so fast, quick, elusive. But when he went to jail, he gained a lot of weight. He was muscular. And then I guess when he got out of jail, he went through a decent boxing camp. He was nothing but solid muscle at the time. Mike Tyson was solid. He was wide. I'm like, damn, what are they feeding you, Mike? And it's crazy. Like, you hear about the stories because we didn't have social media in 1990, 91, 90. We didn't have any of that stuff. We had newspapers, USA Today, news, radio stations. That's what we heard from the grapevine. That's what we had. That was our social media right there, right? Newspapers, radio, television, the news that you can use, hey man, that's what we had. And I listened to the stories of Mike Tyson beating people up in jail. I'm like, who's gonna bet? I'm thinking, like, why are people messing with Mike? Like, you really think you're gonna come and try? No. And it was crazy, and it just really excited me because I was a fan of Mike, and you were still able to see what Mike was doing. He was kicking ass even in prison, which was badass, bro. Yeah, homie's always gotten shape. Kurt, have you ever eaten Mike's edible ears? No. I stopped smoking weed 4 years ago. I used to mess with the CBD because I have joint issues like my left shoulder, and when I did smoke or when I used the muscle freeze was good. I just stopped because one of my jobs, one of my gigs, I do drive and transpo, and they do check for tests. So I was like, no, I can't mess the money up because it's a good investment. You know what I mean? And now the Teamsters Union have passed a law. It used to be if you tested positive for anything, any drugs illegally, you could go to a class or course, but you can't do that now. Now it's just, if you get busted, it's over for you, right? So I stopped all that. But anyway, at that time when Mike Tyson knocked out Peter McNeely, it was only like 40 seconds. He knocked that boy out, and I went home. I got in my dad's raggedy ass Plymouth. It was like a 87, 88 Plymouth Reliant. Piece of shit. If you look it up, it's a piece of shit. A boxed piece of shit. That's what it was. So I'm driving this shit home 26 miles away from my parents' house. And I'm doing fine. And all of a sudden I see sirens. The sirens pop up. I'm like, oh, fuck. They pull me over. And they're like, hey, do you know why we pulled you over? And I'm like, no, I don't. Now, keep in mind, I was only 15. I didn't even have a license yet. So me being me trying to talk my way out of it because I didn't supposed to be in that city. I was supposed to be with the girl that up the street. So the guys asked me, like, where's your license? I said, man, I left them at home. I said, oh, okay. Well, you know, I never forget this shit. I had this Tommy Hilfiger shirt on with these Adidas pants with the 3 stripes on the side. So they started going in my pockets and shit like that. And I had a little cap on, you know, a little wave cap. And it was like it only went down to here. These fuckers tried to pull it down. Oh, what are you doing? Or what are you robbing? What are you robbing houses? Is that what you're doing? He pull it down over you. Yeah, let's see how you look when you're robbing houses. And the shit tore. And I'm looking at the motherfucker like, really, bitch? You really tore my shit trying to say that I'm robbing a place? You really shaking a fucking minor down? So they ended up calling my parents. And when my parents found out, especially my dad, bro, he came. And my mom took the car. I'm like, all right, I'm driving my mom. Nope, you told me. Fuck. So I'm sitting in there with him, and he's driving. He's driving. He's like, mother, you know, he's giving me the 411, you know, and he called me everything in the book, you know, threatened to kick my ass, beat my ass, kick me out, all this shit, right? So I had to hear this shit, you know, and it was all because I wanted to see Mike Tyson because we didn't have cable at our house. And in fact, we didn't wait. No, I think we did have cable, but I don't even think it was the fact that like like back in the day, fights were affordable. They were like shit. I don't know, 29, 39 bucks. So we could, you know, they were affordable back then. So yeah, man, that's my Mike Tyson story when they got out, got pulled over and all that. Mm-hmm. Stopped drinking over 20 years ago. Best thing I ever did. Lee Foster, I believe you. And I haven't been drinking alcohol lately worth a damn, and I feel good. You know, it's crazy how good you feel. Joint issues when smoking dope, okay? Feeding him steroids was rampant back then. The big fight, the bite fight. Why was Fury avoiding AJ? If you think AJ is an easy touch, I expect him to take the fight. Counterpunch. No, I got to tell you guys something about Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury wants he wants people to perceive him higher than someone like AJ. See, what happens with Tyson, it's now, hey, I didn't lose to Usyk, even though you and AJ got beat both back to back. But in his mind, he has to preach and has to convince everybody, including himself, I did not lose to Alexander Usyk. I just didn't get a fair shake. I didn't get a fair shake against him. I know I won that fight because he can never admit that the guy that he calls a bodybuilder, a sausage, a big dossa, right? A no boxing shit house is better than him or parallel with him because see, he hasn't fought anyone else that beat AJ. See, he hasn't fought Dubois, he hasn't fought Andy Ruiz, he hasn't fought any of those guys. So here's the thing, and I doubt he ever will. He'll never fight Daniel Dubois. Tyson Fury will never fight Daniel Dubois, even though now I think Daniel, we don't know where Daniel is mentally. We just don't know. You know, he may never come back the same. You know what I mean? And that's a fact, because I think mentally, whatever Daniel built up, it's been knocked out of him. I'm just going to say that. You know, I don't want to go back in too far in on Daniel Dubois because we're talking about Tyson, but I think that's that. But Tyson is not trying to fight anybody else that AJ has fought, because it would be counterproductive and it could be dangerous, because if he fights Andy Ruiz, which I think he can beat Andy, his inactivity, you know, guys, he's went back to Manny Robles. And I'm wondering I'm trying to get Manny on the show. And Manny Robles, I know he's a busy guy. You know, he's in Cali out there. You know, I don't know if Andy has got, you know, because I'll be talking shit about Andy. It's not I talk shit about Andy. It's just I think my impersonations probably he finds offensive. So maybe not. I don't know, because he might have saw that. He's like, this fucking guy's talking shit about you. I fucking hate that guy. He makes me sick. He's probably one of AJ's cousins. No, I'm not. But, you know, let him tell it. Alex, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. I think Andy Ruiz is done with boxing. I don't, you know, he broke his hand in a fight against Jarrell Miller. You know what they should call Jarrell Miller? Jarrell Miller should be the fist cracker. Guys break their hands on his head. I'm the fist cracker, yo. They can't mess with me, B. AJ impression, please. Gotta come with those super chats, man. You guys, you know, where's the super chats at? Where's the love? I think Andy Ruiz is done. Andy too small for Fury. If Tyson can move his hand, if he can move in a circle, he can beat Andy. That's all he needs, because all he's gonna do, jab, jab, right hand, left hook, circle. Because Andy's not gonna cut off the ring. Andy doesn't have the ability, nor I don't know if he has the stamina or the ability, because we haven't seen him do anything. See, Andy waits till you get so close to him, and then he unslowed. That's why he's so explosive, because he has to be. Andy has to be explosive, because if he wasn't explosive, if he wasn't fast, he would just be a walking punching bag. But be careful. This walking punching bag can explode on you, because he has to land and he has to make those counters count. That's why he throws those punches hard and sharp, because he has short arms. But those short arms ain't no joke. He will come with some thunder. You know? See, AJ was overcommitting. And look, you know, it's crazy that people make mistakes like that. You know, it shows you a lot about them. First of all, it shows you that they're not perfect. And maybe they're just, you know, just not the fighter you thought they were. Jose Chavez, Kurt, ¿qué pasa? Nada, sentando en este carro, hablando con para ustedes. Andy, fast is good. How much you go on Itoma by KO? How much you got on Itoma by KO? He'll knock Dillian White out, or Dillian White will knock him out. Don't rule out Dillian White, because see what's going to happen with Moses Itoma. If I'm Dillian White, I would try to knock that boy's fro off. If I'm Dillian White, I would be aiming to knock Moses out early. Don't drag that shit, no, because you don't know how much stamina that guy has. Moses Itoma might be in shape. It's just nobody has got past that range with him. He may be able to do that, but no, knock him out early. Because one thing's for certain, Moses Itoma now has got accustomed to attacking fast and quick. He's like Cobra Kai. Strike first, strike fast, strike hard. Right? Show no mercy. He's one of them cats. So Moses may try to get aggressive quick. And that could be Dillian's opportunity to land that left hook. Because again, Moses has not been tested. His chin has not been checked. His chin has not been checked. So if you know that, being a veteran like Dillian White, and I think that's what Dillian, I got a pretty cool video that I've done earlier that I'm going to post later on to this morning about Dillian White. So I don't want to go too much in on Dillian White, but Dillian White, man, I'm going to tell you, if Dillian's smart, he would check that chin to see where it's at. Because what I notice about most fighters like Moses Itoma, this guy's fast, he's sharp, his reflexes are on point, his timing is right, he's quick, he's knowledgeable, it's something, people, that he's lacking. And I'm not saying it's his chin. I don't want people to say that or put words in my mouth. But what I'm saying is there's always something about someone that is not 100. You do not have just a 100% perfect fighter. Something is going to be wrong with them. Either they don't punch as hard as most, or, he got punching power, so that ain't it. So it's always going to be something that people will overlook just looking at a fighter and overestimating him or overhyping him. And people do that all the time. They do that shit all the time. When it's fighters, oh, he can't be beat. Oh, this is that. Man, you know, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Oh my God, this guy's incredible. He's the best thing. And they say that, and in the one thing that hasn't happened, that's where they lack. So be careful. Like, if I'm Dillian White, I'm going to try to check Moses Atoma's chin to see where it's at. Because that shit everybody may think it's at an 8. That shit might be at a 2. He may get hit, bow! And people be like, oh shit, he got a chin. That could happen, bro. Nobody's perfect. And I'm not talking about Moses Atoma. I like Moses. I like his calm demeanor. He's like a silent, calm assassin. Moses Atoma, if he wasn't a boxer, if I take him for anybody, he would probably look like a hitman. Because he doesn't talk much, you know what I mean? He looks like he's one of those cats that come in his house and drink some tea and sit down and listen to some jazz or some shit. Or some symphony music, you know, orchestra music. Ooh, you know, he's just sitting there, you know, sipping his tea and shit, or coffee or whatever, right? I think you'd get taken down and subbed in less than 30 seconds. I almost close to thinking White will fight to survive. If Atoma don't get him out early, it will be a long stretch. Parker will give him a less for a casual fight. Well, keep in mind, too, people, this is Moses' first step up. It ain't Jack Dempsey McKean, because Dempsey McKean really ain't got Dempsey McKean hasn't proven himself to be anywhere. The only fighter that he's fought was Hrgovic. Hrgovic showed me where he was. That's why I knew Hrgovic was beatable. That's why Daniel Dubois beating Hrgovic really didn't surprise me. The only thing surprised me in that fight was, you know, Daniel took all those right hands, because everybody was convinced by that he was back. But Dempsey McKean never showed me anything. So when he knocked him out and he did it easy, he just made somebody else's job look harder, and he made it look a lot easier. So he looked a lot better than Phillip. You know, in essence, I think if Moses was going to fight anybody, it should be Phillip Hrgovic. You know, now he's fighting White. It's like, okay. And I don't think White is going to let him, like, just do that. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see about Moses. Wilder would KO that fake Paul. He better. Because if Wilder loses to Jake Paul, he should go away and never be seen again. I think he should set his next ayahuasca appointment, because he's going to need it if he loses to Jake Paul, because he's going to need to calm down. Because if Jake Paul catches him, because they're about the same size, and I know Jake Paul can, you know, he's a cruiserweight, but he can easily make it back to heavyweight. And he's young. Jake Paul's young. You know, and Wilder's 40 years old. Hell, if Jake Paul starts knocking out guys that are 39, 40 years old, he should be welcome to the club of boxing. I think he's already accepted. Because remember, Turkey Alashik didn't want to have anything to do with him a couple years ago, year and a half ago. He didn't want YouTube boxers and on his platform. You remember that? Turkey Alashik didn't want YouTube boxers on his platform. Now he doesn't give a shit. So it makes you wonder, like, okay, well, how much of that is just Jake Paul showing people that he's a good boxer, or the money involved with Jake Paul, with his platform? Because he brings a whole new audience to the sport of boxing that, needless to say, honestly, don't belong here. See, it's a bunch of casuals from Jake Paul's platform that you don't need nor respect. And they're going to get annoying because they don't know shit about boxing. You just got someone that just like thinks boxing is all about just throwing punches, you know, flailing punches in the ring, arm punches. They think that's what it's about. Mr. Shah, Kasim Shah, Bakali versus Dubois. You know what? Daniel needs, I mean, I don't know. If I was Frank, I would put him in there with a tune-up. Put him in there with like an Adam Kalnaki. Give Adam Kalnaki a good payoff. Because, I mean, he's going to knock Kalnaki. You know what I mean? He needs some confidence. He needs what he had. He needs what he needs what he had. Jake hasn't really shown anything yet in a real fight yet. Well, he's been beaten before. Tommy Fury beat him on points. He hasn't fought Tommy Fury since. I don't know if Tommy Fury's fought since. So, I don't know. I heard he was going to have a baby from that Tyson Fury show on Netflix, but other than that, I don't know. You know, but I think if Jake Paul's not real, all he's doing is selling himself. And if we find out that's correct, we shouldn't be surprised. But I think at this point we shouldn't really give him any popularity or a platform. Don't talk about him. Because if he doesn't fight Zordo, if he doesn't fight Jai Opetaia, if he doesn't fight anybody with a name, a real name, I don't want to hear about Jake Paul. Jake Paul is just going to be Jake Paul. Did Turkey Alashik was in Southampton. Can't wait for Opetaia to move up to heavyweights. Jai Opetaia has unfinished business at cruiserweight. I don't think he'll move up until that happens unless Zordo wants to fight him, and I don't think Zordo does. I think Zordo wants to bullshit. I think he's a bullshit fighter. He's decent. He has a good chin, but I think Jai will knock him out proper. I think Jai Opetaia would knock out Zordo proper, and I think Zordo knows that too. Because see, guys like Dorticos and like Bivol, guys like that. Bivol is not a knockout guy. He's just this, he's just this really good boxer with, very good hand speed and ability. I love that Eastern European style that he comes with. This dude will hit you with 9 punches quick, but he's not a knockout guy. But see, the funny thing is, neither is David Benavidez. So, that's nothing to really go on. But Zordo going up to cruiserweight, he knows that Jai can crack. See, Jai will crack that chin. This is my prediction. I think Jai Opetaia will do Zordo like Zhilei Zhang did Joe Joyce. See, Zordo got that big old, you see him with that big Superman ass chin, that big DC chin he has? I think Jai Opetaia will crack that open real proper like. That's why I think he's afraid of that fight, because if he loses to Jai, he loses everything. People, you need to understand something about these champions. Some champions, they may not be afraid of the fight. I think they're afraid of the outcome. But if they fight a fight, it has to be for so much money that if they lose, they know they can afford to take a couple bullshit fights because they've just fell from grace. The championship straps are the keys to higher paydays. That's why a lot of people want to become champion, really. Little cheat sheet for you. It ain't because I want to be the number one or whatever. No, they want to be champion so they can demand more money being champion. That's all that is, man. I'm the champion of the world. That's why when that shit with Dana White came out and the champions wouldn't get even over $1 million, I knew that was bullshit and that wasn't going to work. But no, he's afraid to get beat because he knows if he gets beat, what else does he have to look forward to? He's lost all the belts. Then Jai Opetaia, what he's going to do, he's going to bargain that shit. He's going to become unified. Then he's going to move up the heavyweight. Then he's going to activate that WBO loophole where he can fight for the WBO mandatory championship. And if it's all by one person, and that one person right now is Alexander Usyk, that'll be the fight that would happen. That's what Jai's aiming for. That's why he doesn't have time to fuck around with Zordo, because he needs Zordo to put up a shut up. And Zordo ain't trying to do that because Zordo don't want to get knocked out. He don't want to lose money. He doesn't want to lose the opportunity to get money, to get a higher payday. He doesn't want to do that. But because he knows if he thought that fight was so easy, he would have took that damn fight. That shit, he was like, yeah, 30 minute call. Nobody called. Nobody answered the phone. Nobody called me. All that bullshit. Nobody called me. Zordo really don't. He fought them all. And he has a lot of fights, too. The dude got like a massive amount of fights. Don't be silly. AJ would KO him worse than Francis. Well, I mean, I hope so. I hope he does. Because see, Jake, you know, the thing is though, I mean, Jake probably don't want an AJ fight. I mean, he'll try to. And if Jake's smart, he would just be shorter because believe it or not, AJ has his own issues with shorter fighters. He has his own issues with shorter fighters. He doesn't like the idea of punching downward. If you noticed that Andy Ruiz, those two Andy Ruiz fights were awkward for him. That Jermaine Franklin fight was awkward for him. Those were awkward fights for AJ. AJ fighting Jermaine Franklin, it was just like kind of like, you know what I mean? Almost like him punching at a fucking midget. It looked weird him punching downward. You know what I mean? Instead of parallel with somebody that is at least shoulder length to him. He's not used to punching someone down. And what you don't know about someone, if you're punching down and you're crouching over, you're giving away your height. So the advantage ain't for the taller guy bending over, it's the shorter guy punching upward. So yeah, you're making it easier for the shorter guy. Oh yeah, bend your motherfucking ass over here so I can give you another left hook to the grill. I said that too, Kurt. I said that little college athletes are making more than what Dana White's are supposed to. Man, Dana White's tripping. Dana White came in with those cheap ass salaries for fighters that he thought was going to be stupid enough, like those UFC guys. He thought boxers were going to be stupid with that shit, that they were going to jump on that bandwagon, and all the money over the history of time that Al Heyman and Eddie Hearn and even Oscar De La Hoya, even Bob Arum have offered. And see, Bob Arum is known to be one of the cheapest out of all of the promoters. Bob Arum is the cheapest because he's old as shit. He's 93 years old. That man, $1 million to him is almost like $1 million in the 90s. The idea of $1 million to Bob Arum, he ain't got the memo because I don't think he pays for shit. Guys that old don't have bills. Bob Arum don't know what shit costs. He doesn't have bills. You think about it. Bob Arum at 93 years of age, do you think he has a fucking mortgage? Is he paying off a penthouse, a flat, an apartment? Do you think he has any of that shit? No, he just needs the light bill is a certain amount every month. The water, right? Maybe the taxes on the house. That's probably in the cell phone bill. That man don't have other bills. He got more income coming in than he needs. He doesn't know what shit costs. He doesn't know about mortgage. Everything that he bought, he's been paid for in full 30, 40 fucking years ago. So he's not tripping on none of that. So his idea of offering $1 million to a fighter, and they're looking at this shit like, dude, fuck that. That guy over there had 5 and you offering me $1 million and this dude making 5 million. I'm not taking this shit. So they think he's cheap. But even him being cheap, as I just explained, is a lot better than damn Dana White's bullshit offers from his boxing league. And plus, it's not even to replace nothing. It's just to add more to the bullshit. So you're going to have more fighters, that you're supposed to have more opportunities. That's bullshit because it's going to be a bigger divide because it's going to be Turkey Alashik, Dana White, and then the rest of everybody else because eventually somebody's going to get pissed off and somebody's going to separate and do their own thing. Malo Boyes Luta Cookie in the house. Okay. St. Don or Luton still in the championship? If so, I won't go there. I went through there at 3. Bob gets their senior citizens discount on a light bill. 3 months ago, it was like the end of the world. I can't see this Dana League thing taking off. You remember, people, he's tried a lot. He's tried a lot in boxing and he's come up short. So there you go. I can agree that the resume gives the boost. Today's resume, everyone seems mad. Everyone's greedy. And I think the Turkey Alashik money made everybody, the ones that actually got to eat, are kind of still chilling. Think about who got paid. Wilder got paid. Joshua got paid. Usyk got paid. Tyson got paid. Parker got paid. Bakali got paid. Who else got paid? Hergovic? Daniel? Who else? Otto Weiland? Even though he had to get his shit broke. A lot of people got paid, man. A lot of people. Bivol, Berterviev. Yeah, Ruiz, Miller, all of them cats got paid. That's why you see Miller going on being up in Turkey. What the fuck are you doing in Turkey? He's in Turkey because he can afford to go to Turkey. Kabayel, yep. Even Opetaia, you know, he's getting everybody in the days of reckoning. KO Chaos, Ring of Fire, The Last Stand. What was that? Was the second Usyk versus Tyson Fury fight. You know, all of these venues, people got paid, bro. Turkey Alashik forked off over a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. Forked over a lot of damn money to make sure that these guys got paid. And they're comfortable. And I think it's going to be a while before they... Even Ruiz got a check. Ruiz got a check. So even Ruiz got a check. And that's probably why. And if he got any type of... Think about Ruiz. If Andy Ruiz got anywhere near the ballpark of a couple million, that motherfucker, we ain't going to see him to 2027. Let's just be real. Because we already seen what he does when he gets paid. He gets paid. It's time for vacation. I'm going to hang out and chill. Right? Nah, it's not the sun. No. That's just a light. I'm at a fucking Circle K. I know, bro. Everyone is greedy. And plus Turkey thinks he can run all the shit in boxing because of all the money. Well, he's kind of doing it, you know. Let's talk about Tank Davis, because Tank's not in that. You know, Tank is in trouble. He may be retired. Tank is still slapping up and roughing up chicks. You know, and it's, you know, but here's my opinion about Tank. Tank has to be, he's going to be, if he's not careful, he's going to be the next Adrian Broner. DJ Anton in the building. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. When you pay, you say. That might be the problem. Turkey making fights of what he reads, like Klitschko and Usyk. Tank ain't got it in his heart no more. He probably don't. He just want to beat up on hoes and slap his ass on TikToks. You know? But I mean, I still blame Floyd. I think Floyd ruined Tank, and I think Floyd ruined Adrian Broner too. Those guys, both of those guys, were supposed to replace him. I blame Floyd. You blame Floyd. Floyd didn't let Tank do shit. Floyd had Tank scribbling on Twitter like a little child, and then deleting them, and then deleting the posts. Like somebody wouldn't screenshot that shit. Like, what the fuck is Tank talking about? Screenshot. Then he decides, oh, somebody might have seen it that knows Floyd or Leonard. Let me erase it. Oh my Lord, what am I to do? Adrian Broner, he got his ass whooped by Marcos Maidana. Marcos Maidana then fought Floyd. That shouldn't have been the formation. What Floyd should have done, Floyd should have let Adrian Broner get his get back, because Adrian Broner mentally was never the same. He stopped punching. He stopped being aggressive. He started becoming more hesitant to throw counters. Even though he still had the skill, it wasn't the physical, it was the mental. See, mentally, he was not ever the same because he could not redeem himself to get over the hump. He never had a chance. Adrian Broner tripped over a hurdle, tripped over that motherfucker, fell down, and knocked all of his teeth out. Instead of him going back to jump over that hurdle to see if he can do it, he never did. He's always been afraid to jump back over that hurdle. That's what's wrong with Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner should have fought Marcos Maidana again to redeem himself. So he'll know, like, hey, I won't take this guy for granted. We're going to go to war. He did knock him out. He dropped him twice. And actually, Adrian Broner did a decent job. He got his ass whooped, but he put up a good fight getting his ass whooped. But he never recovered from that because he was never able to revenge or avenge that loss. Floyd, hey, I'll fight him. You bald-headed motherfucker, you let Adrian Broner sink down a mental sunken place because you wanted to be the star that saved your little brother from an ass whooping because you wanted everything to be about you. The minute Floyd found out that Adrian Broner had got he had been champion in 4 different weight classes, and he was only 24 years of age, Floyd started hating. That's a fact. Floyd, I think he's too young for that. I don't think he's ready for the 4 weight classes. I think he's too young. I think he's moving too fast. Right? And as soon as he got his ass whooped, here's my chance. Let me fight Maidana, even though everybody voted for Khan. More people voted for Khan to fight him when he put his poll in on Twitter than Maidana. But since Maidana beat Adrian, he wanted to show up Adrian. And he did that. That's what he did. He showed up Adrian Broner because he wanted to show he was better than Adrian Broner. And how do you do that? Morons think triangle theories are real. So Floyd, if I beat Maidana, how am I not better than Adrian Broner? Because he wanted to compete with Adrian Broner since Adrian Broner got beat. So what it was, he was happy that he got beat, but he wanted to put the damn nail in the coffin. He wanted to dot the I. He wanted to cross the T. He wanted to put the stamp on that thing that I'm better than this guy that everyone compared me to. Or they compared him to me. And that pissed Floyd off. And Floyd was just thinking, y'all hang around with you, my little brother, until he started doing shit before he did it. See, Floyd beat everybody when he was Pretty Boy, but it took him a long time to become Money Mayweather. It took him to like 2008. Do you know Floyd started his career at like 97, 96? He got out of the Olympics in 96. He started in 97. He whooped Gennaro Hernandez to become the first champion of what I think it was featherweight, right? Or lightweight. He beats Diego Chico Corrales. By that time, he was 24-0, okay? And he beat Chico Corrales. They stopped the fight, I think, in the 8th round or 9th round. But Floyd wasn't noticed yet. He wasn't that guy on the map. It was all about De La Hoya, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr., Sugar Shane Mosley, Fernando Vargas, Arturo Gatti. Everybody was overlooked. Everybody overlooked him. Everyone. It took Floyd from 97 to 2007 to get the Oscar De La Hoya fight. So it took him a while, people. Yeah, and a lot of people think Castillo got him. See, actually, Castillo was his Maidana to Adrian Broner, if you think about it, if you parallel those fights. But see, he fought him twice, didn't he? Now imagine somebody coming in there that he looked up to, that instead of him fighting Castillo again, even though he got the win, somebody coming in and cutting in line and saying, no, don't worry about it. I got this. Don't worry about it. Imagine Roy doing that to him. No, I'm going to fight. No, Floyd, I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight him. I'm going to show you how it's done. No, man, that's not right. Yeah, rest in peace for Diego Chico Corrales, man. But no, seriously, I kid you guys not, man. When you're dealing with Adrian Broner, Tank Davis, those guys were under the wing of Floyd. And, you know, and see, Floyd is now just left that, hey, it's all about me because nobody's good as me. No, you didn't put your energy into anybody else to make them good like you or to surpass you. See all those little fucking bullshit fights that he gave? Tank Davis, you know, now Tank has no potential. He had no drive. He had no motivation. Because Floyd didn't make him do shit, but he did that. He purposely stunted his growth, potentially. He didn't want him to fight nobody. He didn't want him to get in there and fight Lomachenko at fucking in 2018. He didn't want that shit. Because for one, I think they were scared. I don't think they could beat Loma at that time. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew Loma's fucking good. He's the real deal. He knew Loma was good. And he was like, we're not going to fight him. Nobody told Lomachenko to fight to stay in the Olympics that long. Nobody told him to stay in the amateur that long. He's the past. Tank's the future. Tank's the future. So, no. But he didn't want Tank to shine. See, it's either two things were going to happen. One, Tank was going to get beat. Two, Tank was going to win. Only two things were going to happen. But see, so Tank never had the opportunity to show how good he really was when it was time for him to show how good he really was. And Teofimo Lopez bottled it. That cunt bottled it. The racist cunt bottled it. He beat Lomachenko and then didn't want to fight him no more. So I don't think mentally he was ready. I think his ego was too big for his own success. But he's a whole different story now, isn't he? Loma prime version outboxed Tank Davis. Yeah. In 18, Loma would have beat Tank Davis. There, I said it. And I think Floyd knew it. But then Floyd was like, you know, I'm going to build him up. I'm going to make him a star. As long as he's not bigger than me. Floyd has no problem with helping people. It's just you just can't get bigger than him. That's the rule of thumb. I will help you, but you cannot be in any circumstances compared to me or bigger than me. Ever. That's Floyd Mayweather. Because Floyd spent a lot of time under other people, the back burner. You know, the second, third, fourth person you talked about. You didn't talk about Floyd Mayweather. You talked about everybody else in the early 90s. The Trinidads, the De La Hoyas, all of them, they were all discussions before Floyd Mayweather. Who? Floyd Sr.? Oh, Jr. Yeah, the lightweight. He beat Diego Corrales. Yeah, he's all right. Ari Spears' little brother. I said that calling Blank Davis a pay-per-view star was bullshit. You know, all these pay-per-views are bullshit here in the States. They are. They're all bullshit. And Turkey Alashik is right about this. The pay-per-view that they have, they're getting, the piracy is making a come up. It's almost like this, people. You guys remember ringtones? Remember ringtone websites? Ringback tones? You remember those? Napster, shit like that? You don't see any of that shit no more. Why? Because there's an app that you can get all that shit free. You want to put it on your phone, just find that shit, download it for MP3 and let it rip, right? Pay-per-view is going to be the same way, bro. People are going to look at that shit. Oh, pay-per-view. Get my pop fire stick out. Fuck that noise. I ain't paying $80. What are you, crazy? Why? Because everybody fell for the bullshit that Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather 6 years later was going to be exciting. And we were all lied to and fooled. Lied to and fooled. That's what we were. That's what happened. Man, that shit, I'm 45, dude. It ain't fucking much that I can hide. Bars. Motherfuckers today or any other division, I would disagree until it happens. Fat Body 11. Hi from Canada. Counterpunch to you. Great. But yeah, man, it's like it's crazy stuff, man. It's boxing is crazy when it comes to the pay-per-view, but I hope that shit's like Blockbuster. I hope that shit's like Blockbuster one day, and I'm gonna tell you why. Over here, we've been getting ripped off with them bullshit fights Al Heyman put up with the help of Floyd and his bullshit, the PBC, Fox, Showtime. Now Prime. They're they got Manny. They dug Manny Pacquiao up, and I seen that fight, and I'm like, bro, fuck that fight. Fuck that fight. Kurt, what does Uncle C think about Donnie Two Towels? I'll ask him. Shit, I was watching this shit today. His shit's on Fresh One Media now, so I need some more sound bites so I can put it on. Kurt, $80 for a fight. No wonder it died over there. Yeah, nobody's paying that shit. For one, you think about it. You have Fast Eddie's, Buffalo Wild Wings, your local bars. Okay, so the national chains are at Fast Eddie's and Buffalo Wild Wings. Okay, they have to pay a certain amount of money. They don't pay $80. They pay a package for their business, and it's I think it's like $2,000. So they have to make money from the amount of people that come through the door. So if it's $2,000, they're gonna charge you $15 to $20 just to come up in there because it's a fight on. Some people might turn around. Some people might pay to cover, for that shit. But then some might say, you know what, fuck that. I don't want to shoot pool tonight because I don't want to pay $20 to shoot pool for a fight that I don't even like or don't know nothing about these fighters. This ain't Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Oscar De La Hoya. Now, the saving grace, though, to stuff like that, or the Mexicans. Mexicans love to see. They'll go to Fast Eddie's. They'll go to Buffalo Wild Wings. They'll go to Pluckers. They'll go to those places that have, bars and stuff like that. And they will support the fight and they will watch it. They'll pay the cover. But, that's not really some places in Texas, sure. California, West Coast, yeah. Some places in East Coast. But it's a lot of America that don't give a shit about a pay-per-view. But yeah, man, so pay-per-view, I think it should be something of the past. Subscriptions are the way to go. I didn't respect the way they pulled that bullshit with the zone getting pay-per-view. Pay-per-view shouldn't have no zone, so but I don't know. We'll see how that goes too. Kurt, did you see the Crawford bulked up right? Yeah, I got a video coming later on today about Crawford. You got the haters and shit saying Crawford's on something. Like, Crawford, if he beats Canelo, I guarantee you, in closing, if Crawford beats Canelo, this is my prediction, because I think he will beat Canelo. But if he beats Canelo and he whoops Canelo's ass, they're going to claim that he's on juice. All the snack program, Victor Conti, you can't trust him. He's behind all this shit. Yeah, Terrence was. Look how bulked he was. Look what Jermell Charlo tried to do and he couldn't do it, and Terrence Crawford can. Watch and learn. Watch and learn. The minute Terrence Crawford beats Canelo's ass, they're going to say Terrence Crawford's juicing. And that's my counterpunch, or the black two sugars and all that above. Guys, be blessed. I'm going to bed. Got to take a shower. I'm hitting the head. And I'm out. I will see you guys in other videos later today. Until then, peace.